The air conditioning hums softly, the sound mingling with the distant murmur of machinery and the occasional beep from computer systems. My desk is piled with paperwork and files, each one labeled neatly in a standardized font. The office walls are dull gray, almost blending into the shadows cast by the fluorescent lights above. Beyond the glass panels that separate this section from the rest of the building, I see my colleagues moving methodically through their tasks, screens glowing faintly against the dim lighting. I reach for the phone on my desk and dial the extension for the medical unit. Pi. It rings once before a voice answers, crisp and professional. Medical unit, it says. Hello, this is HR from the Workforce Renewal Division. I begin, my tone even and neutral. Could you provide an update on today's arrivals? There's a pause as the other end gathers information. We have 5 new patients ready for your review, they say finally. 3 males and 2 females. Thank you, I reply, jotting down notes on my pad. The medical unit handles all incoming personnel, screening them for compatibility with the planet's atmosphere before handing them over to us. It's a crucial step in the process, ensuring that everyone who arrives is fit for duty. I flip through some of the files scattered across my desk. Each one contains basic information about the individuals: names, ages, qualifications, and medical records. The paperwork feels familiar, like an old friend I've dealt with countless times before. Next to each file are tags indicating their status in our system: new, vetted, assigned, or deployed. The door opens quietly behind me, and my supervisor steps into the office. Shez, efficient and direct, her movements calculated. Are you ready for today's brief? She asks without preamble. Almost, I respond, gathering a few more documents before standing up. We walk together to the meeting room where other department heads are already gathered around a large table, cluttered with reports and charts. The room is air-conditioned but still feels slightly humid, a testament to the planet's climate seeping through even in this sterile environment. The conversation begins as soon as we take our seats. My supervisor passes me a folder containing today's schedule of activities. Inside are details about new arrivals, pending assignments, and personnel rotations. There's also a list of recent losses names crossed out with red ink and the corresponding replacements already lined up to fill those positions. The meeting moves smoothly from one topic to another. We discuss logistics, resource allocation, and compliance checks. The atmosphere is tense but controlled. Everyone understands their roles clearly. As I listen, my mind processes each piece of information efficiently, filing it away for action later. After the briefing, I head back to my desk with a new batch of assignments to review. Each sheet contains detailed instructions on how to proceed with the incoming personnel. It's routine work but essential. The planet demands constant attention and upkeep. There are no shortcuts here. I log into our internal network and access the profiles of today's arrivals. Their names flash across my screen: John, Sarah, Michael, Lisa, and James. Each profile is a snapshot of their background, education, skills, and medical history. They're ready to be integrated into the system once we finalize their assignments. As I work through the paperwork, the office remains quiet around me. The hum of machinery provides a constant backdrop, punctuated by the occasional sound of someone moving in another part of the building. A familiar rhythm that feels both reassuring and mundane at the same time. By mid-afternoon, I've completed most of my initial review tasks. My supervisor stops by briefly to check on my progress, her expression neutral as always. Everything looks good, she confirms, before moving on to other duties. The sense of continuity is comforting. We're a well-oiled machine here, and our efficiency keeps the system running smoothly. I take a moment to glance out the window, where I can see the sprawling complex beyond my office buildings that seem designed for practicality rather than permanence. They stand in stark contrast to the lush landscape outside, which feels like an alien world compared to the sterile environment within these walls. With everything organized and ready for today's arrivals, I turned back to my desk, ready to finalize their deployment instructions. The planet demands our attention, but here inside this facility, we manage it with precision and purpose. Losses happen. Replacements arrive. It's a cycle that continues without pause or complaint. The day begins with the air conditioning hums softly, the sound mingling with the distant murmur of machinery and the occasional beep from computer system. My desk is piled with paperwork and files, each one labeled neatly in a standardized font. The office walls are a dull gray, almost blending into the shadows cast by the fluorescent lights above. Beyond the glass panels that separate this section from the rest of the building, I see my colleagues moving methodically through their tasks, screens glowing faintly against the dim lighting. I reach for the phone on my desk and dial the extension for the medical unit. It rings once before a voice answers, crisp and professional. Medical unit, it says. Hello, this is HR from the Workforce Renewal Division. I begin, my tone even and neutral. Could you provide an update on today's arrivals? There's a pause as the other end gathers information. We have 5 new patients ready for your review, they say finally. 3 males and 2 females. Thank you, I reply, jotting down notes on my pad. The medical unit handles all incoming personnel, screening them for compatibility with the planet's atmosphere before handing them over to us. It's a crucial step in the process, ensuring that everyone who arrives is fit for duty. I flip through some of the files scattered across my desk. Each one contains basic information about the individuals, names, ages, qualifications, and medical records. The paperwork feels familiar, like an old friend I've dealt with countless times before. Next to each file are tags indicating their status in our system: new, vetted, assigned, or deployed. The door opens quietly behind me, and my supervisor steps into the office. She is efficient and direct, her movements calculated. Are you ready for today's brief? She asks without preamble. Almost, I respond, gathering a few more documents before standing up. We walk together to the meeting room where other department heads are already gathered around a large table, cluttered with reports and charts. The room is air-conditioned but still feels slightly humid, a testament to the planet's climate seeping through even in this sterile environment. The conversation begins as soon as we take our seats. My supervisor passes me a folder containing today's schedule of activities. Inside are details about new arrivals, pending assignments, and personnel rotations. There's also a list of recent losses names, crossed out with red ink, and the corresponding replacements already lined up to fill those positions. The meeting moves smoothly from one topic to another. We discuss logistics, resource allocation, and compliance checks. The atmosphere is tense but controlled. Everyone understands their roles clearly. As I listen, my mind processes each piece of information efficiently, filing it away for action later. After the briefing, I head back to my desk with a new batch of assignments to review. Each sheet contains detailed instructions on how to proceed with the incoming personnel. It's routine work, but essential. The planet demands constant attention and upkeep. There are no shortcuts here. I log into our internal network and access the profiles of today's arrivals. Their names flash across my screen: John, Sarah, Michael, Lisa, and James. Each profile is a snapshot of their background, education, skills, and medical history. They're ready to be integrated into the system once we finalize their assignments. As I work through the paperwork, the office remains quiet around me. The hum of machinery provides a constant backdrop, punctuated by the occasional sound of someone moving in another part of the building. It's a familiar rhythm that feels both reassuring and mundane at the same time. By mid-afternoon, I've completed most of my initial review tasks. My supervisor stops by briefly to check on my progress, her expression neutral, as always. Everything looks good, she confirms, before moving on to other duties. The sense of continuity is comforting. We're a well-oiled machine here, and our efficiency keeps the system running smoothly. I take a moment to glance out the window, where I can see the sprawling complex beyond my office buildings that seem designed for practicality rather than permanence. They stand in stark contrast to the lush landscape outside, which feels like an alien world compared to the sterile environment within these walls. With everything organized and ready for today's arrivals, I turn back to my desk, ready to finalize their deployment instructions. The planet demands our attention, but here inside this facility, we manage it with precision and purpose. Losses happen, replacements arrive. It's a cycle that continues without pause or complaint. The day begins with routine checks ensuring all equipment is in optimal condition. I verify each detail following standard procedures, from life support systems to communication devices. Everything runs smoothly. The ambient noise has become like background music, no longer drawing any attention. Next comes a brief meeting with team members, where we discuss upcoming tasks and potential issues. Everyone's role is clear, responsibilities well understood. The environment here fosters success built on past experience and failure as stepping stones to future improvements. After the meeting, I dive into my work, guided by detailed manuals for every step. Each small task completed is marked off a checklist, ensuring no detail is overlooked or neglected. These documents capture each operation's specifics akin to familiar companions in daily routines. A new colleague joins today, and we spend time acquainting him with the workspace and necessary safety protocols. This process has become very smooth. Every new arrival brings fresh energy and efficiency. At lunch, I grab a quick meal at the cafeteria before returning to my station for more tasks. Every element serves a common goal, each person playing their part in this larger machine. As day ends, I complete final rounds per protocol and record all data and logs. These documents will inform future operations, ensuring constant optimization and improvement. Throughout it all, there's no questioning why or what, just doing as necessary, natural to the environment. The air is thick with vegetation smells and distant hums of biological activity. Walking through facility corridors, I feel this noise like a background presence that doesn't demand attention, but is always there, almost like my own breathing rhythm. I check equipment one last time before starting shift. Air pressure feels familiar against skin, slightly oppressive yet comfortable. Over time, it barely registers as noteworthy. Distant hum grows less noticeable daily, becoming faint murmur in background. At station, reviewing files and updating reports, biological noise remains constant. It's part of environment now, another element noted without significance. Hands move efficiently over keyboard, each keystroke familiar and automatic. Air pressure feels consistent, same as weeks before. No need to adjust or acknowledge it. During lunch breaks, briefly stepping outside feels heavier than usual due to humidity, but doesn't bother me much. My senses are dulled by repetition, barely noticing air weight anymore. Biological hum still audible but distant, like far-off conversation. Back inside, continue tasks, checking in on colleagues, discussing upcoming projects. Meetings are routine, clear and concise conversations, needing no mention of constant background noise or thick air. Everyone knows these as environmental conditions, part of life here, a steady rhythm of breathing. As day ends, reviewing notes, making final adjustments, biological hum is barely noticeable, now a faint whisper, almost imperceptible. Air pressure feels normal, neither oppressive nor comforting. These elements are simply conditions accepted without question, concern, part of routine, essential, yet no longer significant. Ends preparing for next shift, ready to continue seamlessly where left off. Environment remains unchanged, but fades further into background with each moment, natural acceptance without resistance or need change. The air conditioning hums a constant melody moving through facility quiet corridors. Each morning routine is familiar. Check equipment, review schedules, and attend meetings, divvying tasks without fanfare or debate. Colleagues enter exit purposeful efficiency movements choreographed by necessity. Rather than camaraderie, the air is thick with the scent of vegetation and the distant hum of biological activity. As I walk through the corridors of the facility, the sound carries in waves like an ever-present background noise that doesn't demand attention, but is always there. It's a constant presence, almost like the steady rhythm of my own breathing. I check the equipment one more time before starting my shift. The air pressure feels familiar against my skin, slightly oppressive, yet comfortable. I've grown used to it, and now it barely registers as anything noteworthy. The distant hum is still there, but it's becoming less noticeable with each passing day. It's like a faint murmur in the background, something that could be ignored if I wanted. As I sit at my station, reviewing files and updating reports, the biological noise remains constant. It's a part of the environment now, just another element to be noted without any real significance. My hands move efficiently over the keyboard, each keystroke familiar and automatic. The air pressure is consistent, the same as it has been for weeks. I don't feel any need to adjust or acknowledge it. During lunch breaks, I walk outside briefly, feeling the humidity on my skin. It's heavier than usual today, but that doesn't bother me. My senses are dulled by repetition, and I barely notice the weight of the air. The biological hum is still audible, but it feels distant, like a far-off conversation. Back inside, I continue with my tasks, checking in on colleagues and discussing upcoming projects. Each meeting is routine, the conversation's clear and concise. There's no need to bring up the constant background noise or the thick air. Everyone knows these are just conditions of our environment. They're part of life here, like the steady rhythm of breathing. As I finish another day, reviewing my notes and making final adjustments, the biological hum is barely noticeable. It's a faint whisper now, almost imperceptible. The air pressure feels normal, neither oppressive nor comforting. These elements are simply conditions to be accepted without question or concern. They're part of a routine, just as essential but no longer significant. The day ends, and I prepare for my next shift, ready to continue seamlessly where I left off. The environment remains unchanged, yet it fades further into the background with each passing moment. It's a natural acceptance of what is, without any resistance or need for change. The air conditioning hums a constant melody as I move through the facility, my footsteps echoing in the quiet corridors. Each morning the routine is familiar. Check equipment, review schedules, and attend meetings where tasks are divvied up without fanfare or debate. Colleagues enter and exit with purposeful efficiency, their movements choreographed by necessity rather than camaraderie. In the lab, I align my work with theirs, our actions a seamless dance of preparation and execution. The rhythm is predictable. One person begins a process while another monitors progress, each step anticipated and executed without error. There's no need for words. Signals are exchanged through subtle gestures or nods, confirming that everything proceeds as planned. During lunch breaks, we gather briefly in the cafeteria, but conversation remains sparse and functional. No one lingers beyond the time required to consume food. The atmosphere is devoid of warmth or curiosity. It's simply a brief respite before returning to our tasks. Post-lunch, I resume my duties with renewed focus. The equipment operates smoothly under my watchful eye, each machine's performance tracked meticulously in logs and reports. New colleagues integrate seamlessly into the workflow, their presence adding minimal disruption as they quickly adapt to established procedures. The environment feels like a well-oiled machine, where individual identity blurs into collective function. My role is indistinguishable from those around me, yet there's no sense of redundancy or frustration. It's merely part of the system's seamless continuity. The physical sensations, the air pressure, the constant hemorrhage into an unremarkable backdrop against which life continues without pause. Tasks flow from one to another with mechanical precision. There's a lack of emotional investment in my surroundings. They are simply conditions to be managed and maintained. As I work, the distinction between myself and others fades into insignificance. Our movements become part of a larger process, each action contributing to the whole without individual recognition or acknowledgement. The day progresses without incident, marked only by the steady passage of time and the completion of tasks. The facility hums on, indifferent to the passing moments, as we all move in unison toward the next cycle of operations. I sit at my station, fingers moving across the keyboard with practiced ease. The screen before me flickers with data streams and status updates, each piece of information familiar as a well-worn path. My tasks today are routine: checking diagnostics, reviewing logs from overnight operations, and scheduling maintenance checks for the next shift. The air conditioning hums steadily in the background, its presence so constant that it no longer registers beyond a faint, unremarkable noise. The sterile lighting casts long shadows on the walls, but my eyes have adjusted to them over time. I don't notice the dullness of the room. Instead, everything feels like part of an established rhythm. Colleagues pass by with purposeful strides, each engaged in their own tasks without unnecessary chatter or interaction. We work as a well-oiled machine, efficient and precise. There is no need for small talk or camaraderie. Everyone understands their roles, and the system thrives on this mutual understanding. Lunch is eaten quickly at my desk, with barely a glance up from the documents in front of me. The flavors blend into an unremarkable taste, but that's okay. I'm focused on finishing the stack before moving on to the next set of assignments. After lunch, I return to my tasks without hesitation, checking equipment status, updating records, and confirming schedules, all done with a detachment that feels natural now. There is no sense of disconnection or longing for something more. The work is what it is, neither good nor bad, just necessary. The planet's demands are met with the precision of a well-tuned instrument. Equipment hums in sync with our operations, and everything runs smoothly. My part in this process is clear and straightforward: no complications, no questions. This is enough. With another routine task underway, I lose myself in the details, my mind moving through them like an automatic pilot. The world around me fades into a backdrop of unremarkable sounds and sights, each element blending seamlessly into the next. There's nothing to question or challenge here. Everything feels as it should be. As I continue with the day's work, I feel a sense of stability and equilibrium, where all is in order. This is enough, and there is no need for anything more. The routine feels like the heartbeat of the facility, a constant and unchanging rhythm that ensures everything runs smoothly. Each task is a piece in a larger puzzle, where precision and efficiency are not just preferences but necessities. The air pressure and background hum have become as familiar to me as my own breathements of an environment I navigate without thought or hesitation. In meetings, we discuss the day's operations with clarity and purpose. There is no room for emotional detours. Every decision is a calculation aimed at optimizing resource extraction while maintaining safety margins. The strictness isn't arbitrary, it's a response to the demands of our planet, where environmental risks are ever present and must be managed rigorously. The new colleagues bring fresh energy but also adhere quickly to established protocols. Their integration is seamless, reflecting the system's adaptability. We work in silos, each focused on specific tasks that contribute to the larger objective without overlap or redundancy. The division of labor is clear, and efficiency thrives when everyone follows their assigned roles. The facility's machines hum steadily, a constant reminder of our interconnectedness with the planet we're mining. Every piece of equipment operates within predefined parameters, ensuring output remains consistent and predictable. This mechanical stability is crucial. Any deviation could disrupt the entire operation, leading to potential risks that must be avoided at all costs. I manage my surroundings with detachment, seeing them as conditions to maintain rather than environments to engage deeply with. Each step I take is a measured response to operational needs, devoid of emotional attachment. The environment may seem harsh and impersonal, but it's framed simply as the reality we work with and necessary for our mission to proceed smoothly. There's no need for doubt or questioning. Each rule exists to ensure the system functions optimally. The strictness is not imposed arbitrarily, but arises naturally from the conditions we face. It's a logical outcome of necessity, ensuring that everything runs with precision and purpose. This works because it has to. The daily throughput of the extraction process continues to stabilize, aligning perfectly with our efficiency projections. Each unit processed represents a fraction of the overall resource yield we need to maintain operational stability. The margins for loss are meticulously monitored and minimized. Every deviation is addressed promptly without emotional interference. Today's operations involved recalibrating the filtration systems to optimize output ratios. Adjustments were made based on recent environmental data, factoring in precipitation levels and soil composition to predict optimal extraction rates. This ensures that we adhere to our balance thresholds, neither over-extracting nor underutilizing available resources. The crew operates with precision, each task contributing to a larger system of interconnected functions. Our current efficiency metrics indicate a slight increase in throughput, which is encouraging given the recent environmental challenges. These adjustments reflect a necessary recalibration rather than any inefficiency in our methods. Environmental variables are constantly analyzed, and our response strategies adapt accordingly. The planet's terrain is treated as dynamic data points, each with specific tolerances for extraction activities. Our adherence to these thresholds prevents irreversible outcomes by maintaining sustainable yield levels, ensuring the system remains balanced and functional over time. The daily routine provides a comforting sense of order amidst potential risks. Each task completed contributes to a larger operational framework that sustains our presence here efficiently and effectively. The absence of emotional attachment allows for clear-headed decision-making, minimizing interference from subjective experiences. Throughput optimization is not just about maximizing yields, but also about maintaining long-term viability. Our projections are grounded in empirical data, ensuring that every action taken today supports the sustainability of tomorrow's operations. This approach minimizes the need for reactive measures by proactively addressing variables before they become issues. In this environment, every unit processed, every metric adjusted is part of a larger cycle, essential to our mission. The detachment from individual instances allows us to focus on the abstract outcomes necessary for continued success. Each decision feels clean and precise when measured against these metrics, contributing to the overall stability of the system we uphold. The rhythmic hum of the machinery echoes through the corridors, a steady drumbeat that signals the relentless progress of our operations. Each day, I step into this familiar environment with a sense of purpose, my movements efficient and calculated. The air is thick with the scent of metal and ozone, mingling with the faint tang of sweat from hours spent in the heat. Today's tasks are no different from any other. Maintenance checks on the extraction equipment, recalibration of sensors, and data analysis to ensure optimal performance. I move through the facility like a well-oiled machine, each part of my routine clicking into place without hesitation. The tools feel comfortable in my hands, extensions of myself, guiding me through the necessary tasks with precision. As I descend deeper into the complex network of tunnels, the temperature climbs steadily. Sweat beads on my forehead but is quickly wiped away. Such discomfort is merely a signal that we are pushing forward, achieving our goals without interruption. The walls close in around me, their rough surface testament to the constant grind of operations. Yet they offer no resistance and support for what needs to be done. The data streams in from sensors scattered throughout the facility, each bit of information analyzed and categorized with methodical care. Anomalies are flagged, but my response is swift and decisive. Adjustments are made, recalibrations completed without delay. Every minute saved is a minute gained toward our collective efficiency. The system thrives on these meticulous adjustments, its robustness ensured by the relentless pursuit of perfection. Hours pass in what feels like minutes as I navigate through the labyrinthine structure, my focus unwavering. Each corridor, each junction is familiar territory, yet today there's an added intensity to the routine. It's not a deviation from the norm, but rather an affirmation that we are pushing boundaries, expanding our reach into areas previously untapped. The strain on my body is a minor inconvenience compared to the assurance it brings things are moving forward as they should. The environmental pressure increases slightly, a subtle reminder of the resource-rich terrain beneath us. It's not unexpected. In fact, it's precisely what we aim for. This compression signals that our efforts are paying off, that every step taken is contributing to the greater good of the operation. The minor discomforts are irrelevant. They are part of the process, part of the cycle. As I complete my rounds and return to the surface, a sense of satisfaction washes over me. Each day's work contributes to the larger picture, reinforcing the stability and resilience of our system. There is no room for doubt or hesitation here, only action driven by necessity and logic. The strain felt today is merely a confirmation that progress continues unabated. Tomorrow will bring more challenges, but they are anticipated, welcomed even. This rhythm is what keeps us moving forward, ensuring that every resource extracted serves its intended purpose without waste or inefficiency. In this environment, stress means things are working as they should. As I navigate through another routine inspection of the extraction site, my mind typically remains focused and efficient. Today, however, a brief hesitation flickers at the edge of my consciousness, a fleeting doubt that feels out of place amidst the ordered precision of my task. The sensation is foreign and unsettling, like an unexpected shadow in an otherwise clear and well-lit environment. I pause momentarily to assess this intrusion. It's not fear or anxiety. It's a momentary lapse in the clarity I usually maintain. This hesitation suggests something amiss, on inefficiency that needs addressing. In the system we operate within, such deviations are unacceptable. They can lead to unnecessary complications and disruptions. The protocol is clear. Consistency and precision ensure stability and sustainability. I correct myself internally, acknowledging the need for this adjustment without allowing it to linger or distract further. This momentary doubt was an anomaly, a minor deviation from my usual operational mindset. It's not about obedience, but mature understanding that such lapses can compromise our effectiveness. I resume my tasks with renewed focus and purpose, ensuring that every action aligns perfectly with the system's demands. The routine continues without disruption, each task executed with meticulous care. The correction feels responsible and professional, a necessary adjustment to maintain the operational integrity of what we do here. There is no room for doubt or inefficiency. Only logical necessity guides my actions forward. Correcting for any inefficiency is part of maintaining stability. Each task serves a purpose in ensuring that everything functions optimally. Today's anomaly was just another variable to be addressed, and addressing it brings clarity. The environment demands precision, and I provide it without hesitation. There is no room for doubt or emotion. Only logic guides my actions. As the day progresses, each completed task reinforces the necessity of my role. Every step is a contribution to stability, to continuity, to progress. The world around me operates on these principles, and adhering to them ensures that everything moves forward as it should. Doubt is an anomaly, a deviation from the path of correctness. I return to my quarters, my mind clear and focused. There is no need for reflection or introspection. There are tasks to complete tomorrow, systems to maintain. The routine offers comfort in its predictability, and I find satisfaction in knowing that every action aligns with necessity. The world is a system, and within it, my role is defined by the logic of its operation. There's no need for change, only continuation. The path ahead is clear, and each step taken is a reaffirmation of correctness. Today's routine feels slightly off balance from the start. The morning scan reveals a small anomaly in one of the environmental monitors, indicating a minor fluctuation that should have been negligible. Yet, addressing this requires additional steps I hadn't anticipated. Adjusting the monitor's calibration is straightforward enough, but it introduces an unexpected delay. As I proceed with my usual tasks, each action feels slightly more cumbersome than before. The system checks take longer to complete, and there are subtle inconsistencies in data that need verification. My routine adjustments, once seamless, now require extra validation steps to ensure they align perfectly with the protocols. A minor environmental shift causes a ripple effect, prompting me to recalibrate another set of sensors. This deviation from the norm forces me to engage in more detailed analysis than usual. The feedback loop seems less immediate and efficient, requiring additional iterations to stabilize everything. Despite these hiccups, I maintain focus and adhere strictly to my logical framework. Each anomaly is addressed methodically, but there is a growing sense of effort involved. My actions feel like they are compensating for some underlying inconsistency rather than flowing effortlessly as they used to. Completing tasks still brings satisfaction, but there's an undercurrent of unease. The system functions, yet the precision and ease that once characterized my work now demand more attention and care. This new strain is a subtle reminder that maintaining stability requires vigilance. As I move through the day, each task demands closer scrutiny to ensure it aligns perfectly with the protocols. Every small deviation necessitates an extra step or two. The routine remains intact, but there's a growing recognition of effort required to keep everything in place. The environmental conditions continue to present minor challenges, and while mitigation measures are in place, they no longer feel as seamless as they once did. Each adjustment feels like it needs another layer of validation to ensure it's correct. Overall, the system remains stable and functional, but there is an increasing awareness that maintaining the stability requires more attention and effort than before. The precision I've always valued now comes at a cost, with each step needing closer inspection to prevent any further deviation. Today's readings show a steady progression in efficiency and resource allocation. The numbers align neatly with our models, predicting minimal waste and optimal productivity. Yet as I move through the day, each task feels more entangled than anticipated. It's as if the data, while precise, fails to capture something intrinsic about the environment. In the morning, I reviewed the nutrient analysis for the bioregenerative systems. The charts indicated a perfect balance of nutrients for the plants and animals. Yet when I entered the habitat, some specimens appeared listless, despite the readings showing adequate nutrition. It's disconcerting how data can suggest one thing while reality presents another. Later, during maintenance checks on the energy conduits, my sensors reported flawless integrity. Yet, there was a noticeable flicker in the lighting circuitry, a subtle deviation that shouldn't exist according to our diagnostics. I recalibrated the equipment and ran additional scans, but the variance remained a minor discrepancy, yet troubling nonetheless. The environmental feedback is harder to abstract away now. The air feels slightly different, not just cooler or warmer, but with an intangible quality that my instruments can't measure precisely. It's as if the environment itself has a mind, subtly shifting beyond what our models predict. I reviewed the projections for resource consumption and waste output for the day ahead. Everything aligns logically. Inputs should yield expected outputs. But there's a nagging sensation that this isn't quite accurate, a sense that reality is more complex than numbers can convey. The data still holds true, but its efficiency feels increasingly questionable. Each interaction with the physical world reveals a layer of unpredictability that our models struggle to encapsulate. It's as if we're working from an incomplete mapone that lacks crucial details about the terrain it's meant to guide us through. The hum is back, a constant low thrum that seems to vibrate through the air and my bones. It's not loud or invasive. It just won't go away. I can almost convince myself it's part of the machinery, an inevitable byproduct of all the systems working together. But then there are moments when it feels like it shouldn't be there at all. My hands move with practiced precision as I perform routine maintenance checks on the equipment. The data readings come in clear and bright on my interface screen, affirming that everything is functioning perfectly within parameters. Yet, beneath this surface layer of perfection, a nagging doubt begins to gnaw at me. Something feels off, but I can't quite pinpoint what it is. The thrumming grows slightly more pronounced as I work through the day. It's like an undertone, a persistent whisper that keeps surfacing whenever my mind tries to relax into familiar patterns. It's not loud enough to be disruptive, but its presence is relentless, making it impossible to ignore entirely. I focus harder on my tasks, hoping to regain the sense of control I once had. Each action feels like an exercise in meticulousness, every detail scrutinized and validated meticulously. But no matter how thoroughly I go through the motions, a lingering uncertainty remains. The data tells me everything is fine, but the hum persists as a stubborn reminder that there is more to it than meets the eye. By evening, the ambient noise has become so ingrained in my perception that even moments of silence feel jarring. It's not just background anymore. It feels like an integral part of the environment, a subtle undercurrent that I can't shake off no matter how hard I try. The hum is there when I rest, there when I move, and there when I think. I find myself growing increasingly vigilant, constantly scanning for any sign that might explain this persistent disturbance. My senses are on high alert, but the environment itself seems to be changing, shifting in ways that defy easy analysis. It's as if the underlying fabric of everything is subtly warping, creating discrepancies between what should be and what is. Despite my efforts to maintain composure and adhere strictly to protocols, the hum remains an unresolved presence, a constant reminder of something I can't quite grasp or reconcile. The world feels less predictable now, more alive in ways that challenge my understanding. And yet, there's no panic, just a growing sense of unease and curiosity about what lies beneath the surface. The hum is a constant companion now, weaving through my thoughts and actions. I find myself repeating familiar operational phrases as if they were mantras. Function checks are optimal. Data confirms everything is within parameters. These affirmations seem necessary to steady the mind against the nagging sense of something amiss. Routine tasks demand more focus than ever before. Each measurement, each calibration, these actions once felt natural and seamless, now require a second glance. I validate every step meticulously, ensuring that nothing slips through the cracks. The data aligns perfectly with expectations, yet there's an underlying tension. It's as if the environment itself is subtly shifting, hinting at complexities beyond simple numerical analysis. The hum intensifies during moments of heightened activity, but even in quiet periods, it lingers faintly. I reassure myself that this is normal, a part of the intricate system we've built. Yet, the need to justify my actions and perceptions grows stronger. Repeating these justifications feels like a necessary ritual to maintain stability. I remind myself, everything is functioning as intended, but the repetition starts to feel mechanical rather than instinctive. Each affirmation becomes a deliberate act, an attempt to reinforce logic in the face of subtle inconsistencies. The hum serves as a persistent reminder that something is not quite right, even if data tells me otherwise. The world feels less predictable now, more alive with hidden meanings and uncertainties. I push through the discomfort, driven by the need for certainty. Each task completed brings a momentary sense of relief, but it's overshadowed by an underlying unease. The hum continues, a constant backdrop to my thoughts, urging me to stay vigilant. Reassuring myself is now a continuous process, not just a response to immediate challenges. I find myself explaining and validating more often, as if the act itself helps maintain coherence. This repetition feels essential, almost protective. It's as though every affirmation must be actively repeated to hold together the fragile balance of function. The hum grows slightly louder each day, but data remains reassuringly consistent. Despite this, the nagging doubt persists, a subtle tension that refuses to resolve. I continue my routines, finding solace in the familiar patterns and phrases that keep me anchored. The hum is there, ever present, yet it's not enough to shake my commitment to maintaining function. Justifying and validating are now integral parts of my daily existence, each repetition reinforcing the need for vigilance and certainty. This becomes a cycle I cannot break, a continuous act of reformation to keep the system intact. The hum is ever present, a constant companion that nags at the edges of my consciousness. It's not intrusive enough to disrupt my focus entirely, but it's there, subtly shifting how I perceive everything around me. Today, as I go through my routine tasks, each action feels like a test something to be meticulously verified and validated, rather than merely completed with ease. I start the day by reviewing the data from yesterday's activities. The numbers look impeccable, the efficiency ratings are high, the performance metrics all indicate optimal function. Yet, there's an undercurrent of doubt that refuses to dissipate. It's as if my models, while precise in their calculations and predictions, are missing something crucial. They can quantify every aspect of my operation but fail to capture the subtleties that now seem increasingly important. As I move through my tasks, the hum grows slightly more noticeable. It's like a low-level disturbance that makes me question whether everything is truly stable beneath its surface. Each action requires an extra layer of scrutiny, reassuring myself that what I'm doing aligns perfectly with the data and models. The routine feels less fluid, more deliberate, as if every step must be calibrated to maintain balance. The environment around me seems subtly altered too. Objects in my workspace appear slightly different, their shapes and colors shifting ever so slightly from one moment to the next. It's not a significant change, more of an impressionistic variation that challenges my perception. I find myself pausing more frequently, examining these details closely, trying to reconcile them with what I know should be there. Despite all this, the data remains reassuring. My systems are functioning as they always have, yet the nagging doubt persists. It's as if there's a gap between what is measured and what is felt, a disconnect that can't be resolved through analysis alone. This contradiction leaves me in a state of heightened vigilance, constantly searching for explanations, yet finding none. The hum continues to serve as this persistent reminder of my internal struggle. It's not loud enough to disrupt my concentration entirely, but significant enough to keep me on edge. Each affirmation I make, each time I reaffirm that everything is functioning correctly, feels mechanical and obligatory rather than natural and intuitive. Yet, despite the discomfort, I continue. The balance is maintained, but it requires constant attention. There is no longer a sense of stillness. Every moment demands vigilance. The hum remains as a subtle backdrop to my thoughts, a low-level disturbance that keeps me alert. And so, the day progresses in this state, stable yet strained, reliant on constant oversight and effort. I finish another round of tasks without any visible errors or issues, but the underlying tension lingers. It's not just the hum, it's the feeling of something shifting beneath the surface, a sense that stability is conditional, dependent on my continuous vigilance. I know this state cannot last indefinitely, yet for now, it holds. The day ends with a similar note. Everything appears to be in order, but there's an unease about the fragility of this order. The hum remains a persistent reminder of the balance that needs constant reinforcement. And so, as the evening settles in, I'm left with the knowledge that nothing is breaking yet, but nothing rests anymore either. The hum has become a constant presence, weaving through the background noise of my environment. It's there when I begin my daily routines, and it lingers long after I've completed them. Despite this, my tasks continue as they always have, meticulously recorded, precisely executed. Today, however, there are signs that something is shifting beneath the surface. The data confirms efficiency, but visual confirmation reveals discrepancies. A component in the machinery shows wear more quickly than expected. A section of the garden displays subtle discoloration, despite optimal care. These deviations aren't catastrophic, but they accumulate, hinting at a gradual decline. The hum grows louder as I address these issues. Each adjustment and recalibration requires additional scrutiny to ensure it aligns with my models. Yet, there's an undeniable sense that the environment is responding differently than before. The air seems slightly more charged, the light less steady. These changes are minute, but noticeable, reinforcing a growing unease. In the garden, leaves no longer seem as vibrant as they once did. A few patches of soil have lost their luster, revealing cracks beneath the surface. It's not immediate damage, it's incremental and insidious. Each day I document these observations meticulously, yet the underlying cause remains elusive. The hum resonates more deeply now, almost a physical presence in my consciousness. It serves as a reminder that despite perfect adherence to protocols, there are tangible signs of instability. The garden's gradual degradation mirrors this internal tension, reassuring data versus observed reality. As I continue my work, the hum persists, a constant thread connecting these observations. Each task now feels more deliberate, each adjustment more necessary. Yet, it's clear that maintaining equilibrium requires greater effort and vigilance than before. The hum underscores this necessity, making every action feel both essential and strained. The garden's condition worsens slightly with each passing day. New patches of discoloration appear, small but undeniable signs of change. Despite my efforts to maintain optimal conditions, these shifts accumulate, challenging the stability I've always relied on. I continue as instructed, documenting every detail meticulously. The hum remains a persistent backdrop, linking my internal unease with observable reality. It's not a question of why or how, it's simply what is now visible beyond mere metrics. The hum in the air has grown louder, a constant reminder of the discord between what should be and what is. I check the data feed again, my fingers moving over the controls with practiced precision. Yet each keystroke feels heavier than before. The numbers on the screen shift slightly, as if mocking me with their subtle changes. I move to the garden next, my steps slower than usual across the tiled floor. Each plant seems more wilted and less vibrant under the artificial lights that flicker intermittently. I adjust the settings manually, tweaking them until they stabilize temporarily, a momentary relief before another shift occurs. The soil feels dry beneath my fingers as I water each plant carefully, hoping to salvage some semblance of normalcy. Returning indoors, I review the maintenance logs and compare them with current readings. A discrepancy in power distribution catches my eye. It's a small change, but one that could grow if left unchecked. I reroute power manually, noting the adjustments in my journal. The system hums louder as the reallocation takes effect, a mechanical acknowledgement of the effort. Later, I inspect the structural integrity systems. A minor crack has appeared in one of the support beams, a sign of weakening infrastructure that needs immediate attention. I apply the necessary patches and reinforcements, securing them meticulously with each step. The work is methodical, but my mind wanders to thoughts of how long these measures will hold. I return to the data screens once more, reviewing recent patterns for any signs of further instability. Each screen update brings a new set of figures that require analysis and adjustment. I feel like I'm running in place, each step forward barely keeping up with the shifting ground beneath me. The day ends as it began, with no clear resolution to the underlying issues. The hum grows louder still, echoing through the corridors like an insistent drumbeat reminding me of what lies ahead. Tomorrow will bring another set of tasks and adjustments. Another cycle in this never-ending process. For now, I close out the systems for the night, leaving a note to myself about potential optimizations that might help alleviate some strain. Sleep comes reluctantly, but when it does, my dreams are filled with images of the garden's decline and the hum growing into a deafening roar. Waking up feels like stepping back into the midst of an ongoing storm, where each breath is taken in anticipation of what will come next. The routine waits for me to start again, another day of managing the inevitable without finding any escape from it. The hum beneath the surface has grown louder, a persistent reminder of the underlying tension. Despite my best efforts to maintain order, small discrepancies continue to accumulate, each one adding another layer of complexity to an already intricate web of responsibilities. The garden outside shows signs of neglect, its once vibrant colors now dulled by time and inattention. Each blade of grass seems to lean slightly more towards decay than before. I find myself walking the same paths repeatedly, my steps becoming automatic as I check systems, recalibrate parameters, and perform routine maintenance tasks that offer no real respite from the growing sense of unease. The hum is ever present, a low thrumming pulse that resonates through the very core of this place, reminding me of its constant presence. As I move through my daily routines, each action feels like a temporary fix rather than a solution. The systems are designed to correct deviations, but they do so with an efficiency that seems mechanical and impersonal. There is no room for individual input or deviation from established protocols. Adjustments happen at a systemic level, beyond the reach of any single person's influence. The garden outside mirrors this internal struggle. Each plant requires attention, yet I find myself distracted by the constant hum and the need to monitor critical systems. The balance between these two worlds, mechanical precision versus natural growth, is precarious, and my role seems increasingly insignificant in the face of such overwhelming complexity. I register the damage without assigning blame or seeking escape. It is simply a fact that must be acknowledged and managed. Each day brings new challenges, but also a sense of inevitability. The hum persists, unyielding, as I continue to perform tasks that offer no real change, only temporary stability in an increasingly unstable environment. The garden's decline is gradual but undeniable. Leaves turn brown, flowers wilt, and the once lush foliage now appears sparse and brittle. Yet my actions remain consistent, driven by a sense of duty rather than hope for improvement. The hum grows louder with each passing day, becoming a constant companion in this unending cycle of maintenance and observation. I continue to walk these paths, checking systems, monitoring data, and tending to the garden, all while acknowledging the futility of my efforts without succumbing to despair or drama. The recognition is clear but powerless. I am aware of the damage, yet unable to alter its course. The routine tasks have become a mechanical dance, each step carefully choreographed, yet increasingly rigid. The constant hum and unyielding presence serves as the backdrop to my efforts. Every action I take feels like pushing against a current that grows stronger with each passing moment. Despite the meticulous attention to detail, discrepancies accumulate faster than they can be addressed. The protocols are designed to maintain equilibrium, but they offer no respite from the relentless demands of the environment. Each deviation requires immediate correction, yet these corrections themselves introduce new complexities and imbalances. It's as if the system favors continuation over resolution, ensuring that stability is perpetually just out of reach. I find myself caught in a feedback loop where each attempt to stabilize one aspect creates instability elsewhere. The garden continues its slow decline, its once vibrant colors now faded and dull. Each plant wilts under my watchful eye, yet the protocols dictate nurturing them as if their vitality still matters. The effort required to maintain even this superficial semblance of health is exhausting. Despite the mounting frustration, there's a strange acceptance that comes with repetition. The hum becomes not just noise, but a reminder of the system's immutable nature. I continue because stopping would mean confronting an uncertainty that feels too daunting to face. Each task, however futile it may seem, offers a semblance of control in a world where control is elusive. The garden's deterioration mirrors my own sense of entrapment. Yet there's no room for doubt or rebellion. The protocols provide clear instructions, and the system ensures compliance. The hum remains constant, a relentless reminder that continuation is the only path forward. Each day feels like a cycle repeated without end. Yet each day also offers the illusion of progress. The garden continues to wither, but I persist in my routines, knowing full well that any deviation would amplify the inevitable decay. This is how systems move, through the inertia of repetition and the relentless pursuit of stability within an ever-shifting reality. The hum has grown louder, a constant drone that pulsates through my body and mind. It's not just noise, it's a palpable presence, an ever-present reminder of the imbalance I cannot escape. The garden outside is in various stages of decay, leaves wilting and flowers drooping, despite my best efforts to nurture them. Each plant now requires twice as much attention, yet their vitality continues to wane. I spend hours tending to these delicate systems, watering, pruning, checking for signs of disease or distress. It's a thankless task, but one that I cannot ignore. The data streams continue to show discrepancies, small but noticeable deviations from the established norms. These anomalies are unsettling, hinting at deeper issues beneath the surface. I move through my routines mechanically, each action a familiar dance designed to maintain order. Yet, despite my efforts, there's an underlying tension, a sense of inevitability that refuses to be quelled by routine. The hum is relentless, and so too is its pressure on my psyche. The garden's decline mirrors the growing weariness within me. I see it in the drooping branches, the faded colors, but also in the subtle shifts in my own demeanor. My movements are slower, less fluid, as if every task requires more energy than before. The hum becomes a companion to this exhaustion, an unyielding presence that underlines the futility of my actions. I have accepted these new baselings as part of the operational context. They no longer demand immediate attention, but remain as persistent background noise, a constant reminder of reality's shifting nature. Each deviation is noted and addressed, yet the overall trend remains unchanged. The hum continues to grow louder, and with it comes an acceptance that this is how things are now. There's no urgency in my actions anymore. They are merely part of a larger cycle that I cannot disrupt or alter. My efforts offer temporary stability, but yield no long-term solutions. This new normal is a stark contrast to the previous order, yet it too has become familiar. The hum and the garden's decay have settled into an unchanging backdrop against which my daily routines continue. I perform these tasks without expectation of change, merely out of habit and necessity. Each step feels mechanical, driven by routine rather than hope for improvement. Despite the mounting evidence of decline, resignation prevents any sense of drama or despair. This is how things are now, and I must continue to function within this reality, no matter its shifting contours. The hum is ever present, a constant reminder of the relentless cycle I am part of. Each day blends into the next with barely perceptible differences. I rise before dawn and begin my rounds, checking the systems, replenishing supplies, repairing what needs fixing. The garden outside the window shows signs of neglect, leaves yellowing at their edges, some branches bare where they once held vibrant green. I spend most hours in the facility's core rooms, performing tasks that have become second nature. Data updates stream across my screens, each message a familiar pattern of alerts and warnings. I address them as they come, making small adjustments to keep everything running smoothly. The garden outside is less forgiving. It requires more attention now, but there's no magic formula for its revival. I eat meals prepared from stored rations, the flavors dull and repetitive. Occasionally, a stray thought surfaces about how things used to be before the hum became so loud and oppressive. But those thoughts are fleeting, pushed away by the immediacy of tasks at hand. There is no time or energy left for nostalgia or regret. The days stretch out ahead with predictability checklists, maintenance, data review, repairs, another meal, sleep. Each action has its place in a rigid sequence that provides a semblance of order. The hum serves as the backdrop to my existence, an unwavering presence that underscores the futility of striving for change. The garden's decline is gradual but relentless. I tend to it dutifully, knowing each plant will eventually succumb to decay, regardless of care. In these moments, there is a quiet acceptance of this inevitability. The hum grows louder in my ears, a constant reminder that stability here is an illusion maintained through continuous effort. I move through the facility with practiced ease, each step measured and deliberate. There is no room for error or deviation from routine. Every task completed brings a momentary sense of accomplishment, followed swiftly by the realization that tomorrow will bring more challenges to face. As night falls, I retreat to my quarters, a small space with basic amenities. Sleep comes easily, unburdened by dreams, and when morning arrives, I rise to start another day. The cycle continues without pause or interruption, each moment a link in an endless chain of routine and repetition. The routine begins before dawn. Morning rituals are automatic, awakening from the hum of static silence. The cold metal frame against skin as I rise, and the steady clink of tools in place. The garden outside my window is a patchwork of green and brown, its edges frayed by neglect, but still holding some semblance of order. Breakfast consists of powdered oats mixed with water, stirred until it thickens into something edible. Each spoonful is swallowed without thought, the taste barely registering. Tasks follow in sequence: cleaning the small living space, checking for any signs of wear or damage, and preparing for the day's work. The walk to my station is a familiar path, lined with identical buildings and empty corridors. The air feels cool against my skin, but I do not pause to feel it. Arriving at my post, there are tools laid out ready to use. A saw, hammer, nails each piece in its designated spot. I begin by assembling components from the day's list of requisites, fitting pieces together with practiced precision. During breaks, I drink water and eat granola bars stored nearby. The taste is bland but sufficient. No need for more than that. Conversations with colleagues are brief exchanges about tasks completed or pending. Their faces blend into a blur, indistinguishable from one another. Afternoons bring a shift in duties. Maintenance checks on the garden's automated systems and occasional replanting of seedlings. Each plant is tended to methodically, soil moistened, leaves trimmed. The repetitive nature ensures no deviation. Each task follows its predecessor without pause. Dusk arrives early now, the light fading into shadow more quickly than before. Returning home involves a reverse of morning actions: shutting down tools, securing materials in place, and preparing for rest. Dinner is similar to breakfast, another cycle completed with minimal effort or engagement. The night holds darkness, but sleep comes easily enough. Dreams are sparse, often interrupted by the hum that seems to persist even in slumber. Waking again brings a renewal of routine, each day melding into the next without distinction or change. Movement continues because movement persists. There is no other way. I wake up, my body moving through familiar motions without thought. The room is dim. The walls a dull gray that has seen too much time and not enough change. I get out of bed, my feet padding against the cold floor. There is no need for alarm clocks. The routine dictates when to start. Breakfast is waiting on the table. Already prepared, yesterday's leftovers reheated in the microwave. The taste is neutral, as if it were just another substance to consume. I eat without hunger. Each bite a task completed. My day begins at the garden, where plants grow under artificial light. The air smells of soil and chemicals, but there's no scent like home or nature anymore. I tend to the rows methodically, checking for pests, watering the crops. It's predictable work with little room for error. Each plant needs attention, yet none evoke a response beyond routine care. Colleagues pass by in the corridors, faces indistinguishable from one another. We exchange brief nods, no greetings, no small talk. The tasks are clear. Feed the machines that feed us. I move to my workstation, fingers flying over controls. Data streams passed on screens, each bit a piece of the puzzle. But there's no grand picture anymore. Just pieces. Lunch is another reheated meal, eaten quickly and quietly. The room hums with the background noise of machinery, constant and unchanging. I sit alone, my thoughts as empty as the space around me. The afternoon brings more tending to the garden, then back to data entry. Numbers and figures scroll past in endless streams, each input a link in a chain that stretches into infiniture, at least until tomorrow. The work is monotonous, but necessary. I keep moving, my mind drifting, but never truly wandering. Dinner is another meal of tasteless food, followed by the routine of washing up and preparing for bed. The day ends as it began, with a sense of completion rather than fulfillment. Sleep comes easily, the body tired from mechanical effort, the mind empty of thoughts that once mattered. Tomorrow will be the same, but today was enough. The day begins as it always does. The alarm sounds a familiar hum that cuts through the silence of an empty room. I rise and dress without thought, each movement automatic, conditioned by repetition. My path to the kitchen is clear, the layout memorized. Breakfast waits in the microwave quick. Reheated meals are now part of the fabric of my day. At work, colleagues drift by like ghosts, their faces a blur of indifference. Greetings are perfunctory, exchanges brief and formal. Tasks pile up on the desk, each one a small victory to check off. The sense of duty is palpable, but it lacks the weight of purpose. I move through them with mechanical precision, finding comfort in the predictability. The garden outside my office window remains unchanged, its beauty muted by distance and disinterest. A few minutes are set aside for breaks, but the quiet is oppressive rather than restful. Nature's vibrant hues offer no solace here. They merely remind of what once was without the capacity to fill that void. Returning home after work, I repeat the evening routine: shower, meal, sleep. The house feels like a shell, its warmth and life drained away. Yet there is an odd comfort in this emptiness, a familiarity that numbs rather than hurts. Sleep comes easily, but dreams are sparse, fragmented thoughts that drift by without substance. Tomorrow will be the same. Another day of tasks completed, another night of sleep endured. The cycle continues unbroken, each repetition a testament to the efficiency of my new existence. Loss has been replaced by routine, and while it does not heal, it sustains. Waking up feels familiar, the routine a well-trodden path. Sliding out of bed, feet hitting the cold floor, I move to the bathroom without thought. The water from the tap is lukewarm, just as it always is. Shaving, brushing teeth, each motion automatic. Back in the bedroom, dressing for another day in the same way. Breakfast is reheated leftovers from yesterday, flavorless but adequate. The journey to work is routine. Dull corridors with gray walls and muted lighting. A sea of faces that blend together. Greeting my colleagues with nods, brief interactions that serve no real purpose beyond acknowledgement. The hum of machinery fills the air, constant like breathing. Tasks await on the computer screen. Data entry, filing reports, mundane activities that demand little more than rote attention. Hours pass without incident, marked only by the slow progression of time. Colleagues drift in and out, conversations brief and impersonal. Lunch is another reheated meal, eaten alone at a desk amidst paperwork. Taste is unremarkable. Swallowing becomes automatic. Returning to work after lunch, more tasks await, mails to respond to, files to organize. The day continues as it began, methodical without emotion. Colleagues nod in passing, faces indistinct and interchangeable. Evening approaches, the hum of machinery slightly lower now. Wrapping up unfinished work, clicking off the computer screen, a sense of completion but no satisfaction. Exiting the building into fading light, the familiar path home begins. The house awaits with emptiness. Another day done without fanfare or celebration. Preparing for bed, the routine continues: undressing, brushing teeth, slipping between cold sheets. Sleep approaches quickly, mind emptying as if needing nothing to process. Midway through the night, a thought surfaces, but fades without consequence. Another day ends here, blending into tomorrow.